Welcome to Radiant Realization with Namrata. Here we deep dive into captivating conversations about life. Today I have with me Rradhika Khanna. She is an image consultant, corporate trainer, etiquette trainer, soft skill trainer, and she also coaches beauty pageant. Welcome, Radhika. I am pleased to have you today.
Thank you so much, Namrita, for that wonderful introduction. I'm really glad to be here and, give some takeaways for your viewers and also hold some conversations in which people can drive a lot of value from. Thank you so much for having me. Mhm.
Thank you. Radhika, before we deep dive into today's topic about image management and image projection about ourselves, I would like to
Right.
know from you what got you started in this field and why is this area your driving force of life?
So basically, I had done my fashion designing from NIFT much before starting as an image consultant. And, I was for almost 16 to 17 years, I was a fashion designer. I also worked with the fashion designer, did the Lakme Fashion Week range with her, everything. And then I started my own label called the Clothes Rack, in which I used to manufacture clothes, all westerns, specializing in drapes mostly. And then, I used to also style and dress people from all walks of life. So when people used to come and approach me, they also had this question on their mind that you're so great at curating outfits, curating looks, as per the occasion for people. So why don't you take it up professionally and teach? Because there are a lot of designers, but this is a skill that's there's a lot of gap for. It's really missing in the market. So that's how I thought of getting into styling and just styling people rather than manufacturing. And then that's how image consultancy came about, basically. And then I became an image consultant, got my certification, and now I'm here, again training people from all walks of life and grooming them, building their confidence, helping them project the right image, keeping their roles and goals in mind. So that is exactly what I do.
Okay. So, Radhika, in today's world where lot of us are on social media, I'd like to know from you what is the importance of positioning ourselves, and also how do we manage our image? Because so Radhika, in today's world, uh, it's very easy to get lost in the crowd, right? If you're engineer, there are thousand engineers with you. If you're doctor, if you're chartered accountant, so in that case, how do we position ourselves? That is what I would like to know from you.
So what happens, like you rightly said it, Namrita, in today's world, okay, it's a fast-paced world and people do not have the time to sit down and hear you out completely and get to know you over a few interactions. Your first interaction can be a deal maker or a deal breaker for you. So that is where positioning yourself is extremely important, in fact, imperative in today's world. So the kind of image you project is the kind of deal you'll make or you'll break. Because what happens is there are, like you said, a plethora to choose from. There is a pool where you have thousands, maybe, more than thousands of image consultants, thousands of soft skills trainers. Now, people do not know how to reach out and who to reach out. So there are two or three ways in which you can position yourself. First is build trust in the people. Okay. Make sure that people who come to you, you are helping them, you're credible enough. So positioning yourself, with your through your personal brand, giving out your story to the world, and also at the same time letting others know how you can help them, you know. So only, and in today's world, people are only there to do business with you if they trust you, because trust is the bedrock of all relationships. And trust only comes through being an expert or positioning yourself somewhere where people know that, yes, if I go to Miss So and so, Mr. So and so, then yes, the person has some credibility, some position in the market, and I am not going to like feel lost, or I won't feel that yes, I have derived value out of it. So creating value for people comes through your personal branding, through the trust, through your credibility. That's where positioning yourself in today's market is extremely, extremely important.
Once we've positioned ourselves, it becomes imperative that we maintain our positioning. So, what would you recommend on maintaining our image?
So the way you maintain your image is again by showing up, being consistent. Consistency is extremely important, not in this field, but any field. Wherever you go, if you're not consistent, people will not find you relatable, or they will not build trust in you. So that is extremely important. Then also gauging, how you're progressing, thinking about or chalking your goals, understanding your goals. Are your actions following through in line with the goals that you have, thought of achieving? So that achievement can only come through if you build, or if there is a lot of grit in you, you're consistent in your efforts, and what value do you create for everybody around you? That is what helps basically.
When we think of building our image or positioning ourselves, what all key components should we take into consideration?
So, when you talk about building a personal brand or an image for yourself, there are 4 or 5 components that are extremely important when it comes to building image or a personal brand for yourself. Number one, we talk about is appearance. Okay, A. That means dressing for success. Okay, keeping your roles and goals in mind. Number two, we talk about is your B. That is your one sec, your behavior. Okay, I'll again say. Number two, we talk about is B. B stands for a behavior. How we are communicating in different occasions, how we are interacting, or how we behave with people around us at various occasions speaks volumes about who we are as a person. Our true, authentic self should shine through. Number three is your communication skills. Okay, C. Now, communication skills are both verbal and non-verbal. People in today's world focus more on verbal skills, but they forget the importance or the impact your non-verbal skills play. That is your body language, which is extremely important, which we'll discuss a little later as well. Then you talk about D. D stands for your digital media presence, which is again extremely important because before holding an interaction with anybody in the world today, everything is on social media. So everybody will first go and check out your digital media presence. How have you positioned yourself there? E stands for your etiquette. Okay. How you, again, make others comfortable or put yourself in a comfortable spot. So, etiquette is not a rule of, set of rules and norms that people usually talk about. It is about making others feel comfortable when they are around you. So these are the core components. I would still, it's A, B, C, D, and E. I would still include, your how credible you are and how people can build trust in you. That is the bedrock. From there, everything stems basically. So A, B, C, D, E, and also your T, your trust. How you're positioning yourself, how people are finding you authentic. That is how they'll build that trust in you and in your brand as well. So these are the core components of building your image.
And Radhika, when we are in process of building a image, what common mistakes have you seen people make in this journey?
So the common mistakes I see that people make in their journeys, firstly, they don't stay consistent. Okay, there is ambiguity when it comes to their personal branding. As in certain occasions, they'll show up as very credible. Certain occasions, they will not show themselves as credible. So it somehow shakes the trust of people in them. That is number one. Number two is they do not keep skilling up. Now, skilling up and learning and growing is an ongoing journey. It's a process. It is not that, okay, today I've learned everything about image management, now I know it all. No, it is consistency and growth and learning so that you keep creating value for yourself as well as for the people who are associated with you. Number three, we can talk about over promising and under delivering. That is another thing you'll see most people do not overpromise, only stick to what you can actually deliver, because that will show how authentic you are as a person, and also it will not shake your brand. Okay, people will value you for your authenticity. Then do not try to be perfect, because on social media nowadays we see everybody's trying to create a perfect persona, that life is so perfect that others around them feel, acha, is this the reality? That is what exactly happens, but that is really not the truth. So shine in your own light, show your struggles to people, let them understand that you also had struggles, and that is the leap of faith you had taken, and that is how they can do it too. So I think all these components are extremely important when it comes to talking about the mistakes people are making, in building themselves or building their image. So this is where they go wrong. If they don't stay consistent, authentic, if there's ambiguity in what they're trying to position themselves as. So somehow, this all also doesn't position you, firstly, and secondly, people don't find you credible, so they do not want to invest or engage their time with you, basically. This is what happens.
Okay, so, I think when we are in process of designing the image that we want to project to the world, what habits you would recommend individual to do it on a regular basis so the consistency and the credibility is getting established?
So it's extremely important to keep, reflecting on your growth. It is to understand the key components, that are there any gaps which I can still fill, you know, doing a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis, I don't know if everybody knows, but SWOT is extremely important for every individual. SWOT stands for your strengths, weaknesses, okay, opportunities and threats. So if you understand your strengths and your weaknesses, you start working on your weakness one by one to convert it into your strengths, so that your strengths are even stronger, and you can build your brand and learn and grow from there. So SWOT analysis is extremely important. Then we talk about gauging yourself every now and then, maybe taking a check on yourself, maybe after understanding your goals, are they falling in line with what you want to achieve or not? Okay, then taking maybe a 360-degree feedback from the people around you. Okay, understanding their pain points. Are you living up to the expectations, or is there a miss? Sometimes your perception of your brand and how you're being perceived by the world is extremely different. So it is, you can best know it from the people itself. So external forces really play a big part. Taking surveys, polls, taking a 360-degree feedback really helps in helping you, pushing yourself and staying consistent and keep learning and building yourself. So yes.
We are talking about building an image that we want to demonstrate to the outside world. Along with this, what is the importance of having a self image?
So self image actually is the core or the basis of everything, because your self image defines you in your eyes. So, like we spoke about creating perceptions in a fast paced world. Similarly, if you're not confident enough, how can you project a confident image to the world and showcase yourself as being authentic and credible, right? So, because also, if your self image is damaged, you will always hold yourself in dim light. Things like, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable enough comes from there. So, self image plays a very crucial role. In fact, it is the pivot point from where growth can happen, or you can really fall down. So, basically, working on a self image is a daily process. And it also sometimes, can be from issues related to childhood. And if you talk about self esteem and self image are actually quite related to each other, because self esteem talks about self worth. What do you think your self worth is? What light do you shine yourself in, or what light or what confidence do you hold? Do you think you're worthy, or you feel you're not worthy? If you don't feel you're not worthy and not credible, how will the world see it? So that's why working on a self image should be an ongoing process, to better your image than your last. It should be, that should be your main mission, that let me work on my self image daily so that I can exude with confidence and, walk the path with a lot of confidence and show my credibility therein.
In our everyday life, we get so much criticism from outside, right? That you're not up to the mark, the client is dissatisfied, or boss is dissatisfied, or loved ones are dissatisfied. With all this negative talk around us, how do we still hold on to our self image that I am worth deserving what I'm desiring for?
Yeah. So what happens is when you talk about your self image and your self worth, okay, and your negative self talk, they're all interrelated. Now, negative self talk, I can give you some tips how you can convert your negative self talk into positive. So I think emotional regulation is extremely important. That means journaling daily, holding gratitude every morning when you wake up. Think about 5 things that you should be grateful for. It can just be, I can breathe today, I have legs today. A lot of people don't even have that. So just being grateful for something in your life every day puts you in a positive mindset every morning. It's like sowing seeds and watering them daily, right, for the plant to grow. So it's extremely important that there is consistency in the process. Now, talking about that, then from there, you also, I teach this to a lot of people, or a lot of my clients who have very low self esteem, doing mirror exercises, standing in front of a full fledged mirror, you know, and taking a superwoman pose by, putting your hands on your waist like that and say, I am in my superpower today. I'm going to give it my best. So these are some very simple affirmations, but they definitely send a signal to your brain. They definitely help you act in your own light and shine in your own light. So that is extremely important, mirror exercises. Then also, if any negative like talk comes up, try and challenge it, or try and understand the triggers. From where is it coming? Is it out of stress that you go into negative self talk, that I'm not good enough, or it is because somebody feels you're not credible enough? So your negative self talk also starts from there. And sometimes, because of childhood issues or experiences, it's on autopilot. The moment you wake up, it's an autopilot because it's repeated so many times. So to get off that band, and to understand how you can help yourself is by telling yourself, anytime a negative thought crops up, don't try to negate it, but challenge it by questioning it. Is it coming from my mind? Am I only cooking in my own head, or is it actually reality? you know so challenge it by questioning it, and try and switch any negative talk, like I'm not good enough, or I'm always doing this. So always, according to me, is a very negative word. People also say, she's always like this, he's always behaving like this. So it shows, it has a negative connotation, because it's like it's talking about a repeating process, but it's not always true, right? So that is why it's very important to understand and also realize that maybe it's just going on in the mind. It's not true. Let me face it. Let me challenge it and try and switch it to something positive. That okay, today I couldn't do it. Let me try another way of doing it. Finding solutions, innovating and being creative in finding solutions to do something else. Once you start challenging and once you overcome with that challenge, so that is like, if how I challenge myself is, um Thomas Edison, yeah, he created the light bulb. So he took about 9,999 shots. What if he would have stopped there, not taken that 1,000, the shot at which he actually discovered the light? So how would it happen? Right? So if he could do so much, can't I give myself 4, 5, 6, or 10 tries at least in the same thing? So that is how you challenge yourself and see some people who've grown, who failed again and again, but grown. So, it's not that something that will be stuck to you for a lifetime. You have to make that shift and believe in yourself. And once you start making little, shifts, or understanding that no, it is just in my head, that negative self talk will turn into positive, because you yourself are seeing yourself grow. So that is, your self worth is extremely important. Whether the world knows it or not, you need to understand your self worth. So that is extremely, extremely important.
Radhika, once we've controlled our negative self-talk, have a strong self-image for ourselves, and we are in
Right.
process of establishing an image about us to for the world.
Right.
In this process, what is the role of first impression on digital media, or first impression when you meet somebody?
So, I will give an analogy here. Okay, I'll explain it to you and for your viewers also. It will really help. Now, first impressions are extremely, extremely important if you think about. It can be a deal maker or a deal breaker, depending on the kind of position you put yourself in, okay? And how you've portrayed or how you're being perceived by the world. Now, when any gift item or any of the biggest designers give, if some customers bought something from them, or if you receive a gift is very beautiful from within. Why do people package it beautifully on top? Is the question I'm asking you. Why do they package it beautifully on top and showcase it really well?
So it people get attracted to it and they want to open it, the excitement of opening it and knowing what is inside.
So, this is exactly what happens. Humans by nature are very visual, okay? And even if you go to a fine dining restaurant, or if you pick up two dishes, one from a basic restaurant, one from a fine dining restaurant, the dish is very well placed. It looks really appetizing. And the other one may be very tasty, but doesn't look appetizing. Which one will you eat or want to eat? It will always be the one that is displayed or visually very appealing to you, right? So that means humans by nature are very visual. They get attracted visually. That is the power of first impressions. So when you meet somebody, it's extremely important. Within 3 to 30 seconds, an image of yours is clicked and stored in the minds of people. And the same image lingers on, whether as good fragrance or as a very bad smell. So that depends on us, how we control or how we are proactive about creating that impact. And it is so good if we have, all if we have the understanding of, or we are proactive in our approach about creating the right image. So we'll be sure footed and more confident in projecting that image, as we'll know what the consequences or outcomes will be, which will be a extremely impactful, beautiful image on anybody, right? So that is where the importance of first impressions come. Because anytime, if you think about, even if I ask you today, think of a time or think of a colleague you never got along well with. Have you thought in your mind of a colleague who you didn't like from the beginning or you didn't get along with? Anybody. Yeah, you don't have to name, but you think in your head, right? Could you retrieve the file? You could get it out of your system, right? Because the file is stored. So that is the power of the first impression that colleague must have created on you. You understand? So, and of course, like I said, it's a very fast paced world. People don't have the time to sit and interact with you, understand you. Even interviews happen like this. It is based on your soft skills, your technical skills. So many people have technical skills on point. Why do they have a face to face interaction or a virtual meeting? Because they want to see your presence. Do you seem confident enough? Is your image being projected how they want it to be projected? Do they feel that you're the right fit? It all comes through your power of your first impressions, basically. So, this is extremely important. That's why.
Since most individual are visual, uh, I would like to know from you what is the power that comes with the way we dress ourselves, the way we style ourselves in creating our image.
So, I'll talk about
Should I repeat?
something about image concepts only here. When you talk about creating an impact or an image, there are 5 W's that you need to keep in mind: what, when, where, why, and who. Okay. Now, what do you want to tell the world about yourself? Okay. Why are you going to meet a certain person at that time? Where is the meeting going to happen? Okay. Who are you meeting and where are you going to meet? The venue. So, all the 5 W's, if you think of them daily and pull out clothes and curate a look and dress accordingly, it'll be a perfect match. Because people are not proactive in their approach, they do not give weightage or importance to who they're going to meet. So it can be a deal maker and deal breaker. People only think of technical skills, but they do not think of the image they want to project. And if they use a proactive approach, I kid you not, it can make a drastic shift in the way they are showcased or they showcase themselves to the world. So that is where image management comes extremely handy. And it is an easy process. It is not you have to buy branded clothes, or managing your image is extremely important. Is bank breaking, or an image consultant is extremely expensive. I curate looks. I've in fact finished about 10 to 15 styling sessions of 3 4 of my clients. It's not broken the bank, but they're really grateful for it because it's an investment that will last you a lifetime. So it is very, very important to understand your image, gauge where the gaps are, and fill the gaps with the help of somebody who can help you project the right image. It works like a dream.
So, Radhika, today, if somebody will reach out to you and they'll ask you, Radhika, tell me one thing that you want me to do so I can have a better visual image. So, what
Okay.
would be that one specific thing somebody can start with?
So, see, only one thing I cannot tell you. I'll tell you 2 3 things because, people can use either of them. I'm giving you options. Rest, your viewers can choose what they want to. First is when it comes to your image, think of curating a look or an image, keeping, your personal colors in mind. Okay. Your personal colors are the colors which an image consultant tells you about, basically. Secondly, make sure you dress for your body type. It should fit and flatter you, which a lot of people go wrong with. They, a lot of them are victims to the trend. Don't fall a prey to the trends or the ongoing trends. Make sure it suits you as well, right? It is about you. It is not about the trend per se, right? That is extremely important. Make sure within your look you have one focal point, maybe a scarf, maybe a loud lipstick, or maybe a brooch or anything, one focal point of attention. It should not be distracting, like people wear here, all over. You cannot be like that. There has to be only one point of attention, basically. So these are a few tips that people need to follow. Also, I will say, if you do not understand what to wear, or if you're not sure of what to wear, again, think about the 5 W's that I just mentioned. What, where, whom, where, and why. If you keep those in mind, you will still be able to curate a look. And still, if you're lost, then definitely you need help going to an image consultant and consulting and understanding how you can, maybe create a perfect image of yourself, or the image or how you want to be perceived, and showcase yourself to the world with a lot of confidence.
Agreed, agreed. Okay, Radhika, now what I would like to know from you is we hear this word like executive presence, dress like a CXO, dress like going up to a next level. So, what all these terms are trying to tell us?
So, see, a lot of people, when they want to level up, okay, position up, they need to understand there is, a methodology or a professional dressing style scale, basically. So your scale will tell you exactly what you are positioning or showcasing to the self, to the world around you. So when you talk about executive presence, are you actually dressed up like an executive? Firstly, you need to consider, are you groomed and dressed like an executive? Does your body language project that persona of an executive? All these things together need to be taken into account. And eventually, being charismatic. What is your charisma? Are you somebody that people are inspired by when they look at you? Do you project that image? So, to curate that, it is extremely important to understand, are you dressed credibly enough? Now think of it. If you talk about Ranveer Singh coming on the sets of Baji Rao dressed up in joggers and pajamas to perform, his technical skills brilliant, on point. But would he be able to do justice? And would people say, "Oh no, we love Ranveer Singh. We'll see him like this. It's okay. He's a great actor." So image does come into play, right? It has to be in sync or in congruence with what role we are playing.
Yes.
And every day we are projecting different roles or playing different roles. So, how will you do that? You have to justify that role with your dressing. It should be in congruence so that your authenticity shines through. And at the same time, people take you seriously. People know you're a leader. From the look of how you're dressed, it should be projected. Your image should cast such an impression that people understand just by looking at you that, yes, he is of a leadership position. That is extremely important. So, working on yourself, maybe not just going in a t-shirt and trousers. You see nowadays with the Friday dressing coming in, the casual dressing coming in. But if you're at a position and if you're going for any the professional meeting, you need to think twice. No, the person knows me, but still that image can be hampered or damaged. So you need to control it by controlling or being proactive about the components of how you dress to impress and for success. It's extremely important.
Yeah, Radhika, there's a lot of we usually say, right, that we have to speak right, we have to present ourselves in a right way. But lot of times, uh, our image or our non-verbals, they precede before even I say a word. So how do we manage this non-verbals during whether it's interview or projecting an impression about ourselves?
Yes, rightly said, actually, Amrita. When you talk about your non-verbal communication, it is truly a deal maker or a deal breaker. People do not give weightage to it, but I have done umpteen number of sessions with corporates, and actually they call me for helping their workforce to their game, because they understand that the workforce or the people or the frontliners are actually the face of the company. Okay, and they make the brand. So if they do not understand or exude with confidence, why will people come and buy from them? And they are the ones who are interacting outside or telling the world what their brand or the company stands for. So non-verb, when you talk about, there is Professor Mehrabian of Emeritus. He came out with this theory. Okay, it's a pie diagram which talks about 55% of our communication actually happens through our body language. 38% is our paralinguistics. Paralinguistics stand for our pitch, tone, volume, word stress, pauses, and merely 7% are our spoken words. And how wrong are we? We always give a lot of weightage to the spoken words, but we forget the body language, you know. So when you talk about so much of importance is given to body language and communication, just think about it. Are we projecting it through our body language? Are our spoken words and our body language in congruence with each other? You know, for us to showcase ourselves as being authentic. And if there is a clash between our spoken words and our body language, our body language will take precedence. People will believe what our body language is trying to tell them. Today, if I sit in front of you, let's take an example, and I say, I am extremely confident as an individual, very, very confident. Am I looking that confident to you?
Not
Can you
at all.
feel my confidence? So, see, in spite of not knowing all about it, but still you can gauge that I'm not confident. If I say I'm extremely confident,
Yes.
I shine like a star, wherever I go. So it is the impact I create. It's with my paralinguistics, that is my pitch, my tone, volume, my word stress, how I'm stressing on impact I create. You understand? That also plays a role. And my body language, that it was shelled in like this. Now it's like this open body language. Yes, more inviting for people to understand, yes, she's a leader. So this is where the power of your body language comes in. And, over a few sessions, one can understand and project the rightful image, keeping in mind their body language and working on it.
Radhika, if somebody is an introvert who is not comfortable talking to people and is very shy, for that individual, would you recommend that person to do on a regular basis?
So with introverts, see, people have this myth. I've also been an introvert all my life. Now today people do not see me in that same light because reason being, when it comes to my personal life, I'm quite an introvert. I'm not somebody who you'll see socially hanging everywhere here, there. I'm more into, reading. I love my time, my space. So that is what an introvert is all about. But introverts actually are very creative and very innovative by nature because they give enough time to sit down and think of ideas. So a lot of ideas are playing in their heads. So that is where, because they give enough time to reflect upon their thoughts, upon what's going inside. So it makes them highly creative and very, very innovative. Now, when you talk about them being in a social environment, so socially, they may not be as friendly or as open as extroverts. Yes, there is, of course, that difference is there. However, when you talk about introverts trying to project an image or trying to shine in their own light, they need to get out of their comfort zone. They need to put themselves, if they really want to, maybe not be a complete extrovert, but be an ambivert, a mix of an extrovert and an introvert. That is what I am now. So put yourself in positions or in situations where you at least stand up and start or understand the art of small talk. Asking open-ended questions, speaking to people, maybe in smaller groups if you're uncomfortable initially, speaking in crowds, or really being socially there. That is one thing they need to do. They need to join certain groups where they feel comfortable in, and that is how they grow. Then maybe public speaking is very good. Join some groups where you can stand up and speak, and show your authority, showcase yourself, using your paralinguistics extremely well. That will really help them, while at the same time surrounding themselves with the people who encourage and push them. Being a part of a positive, encouraging tribe is extremely important for them if they want to showcase themselves, even as confident individuals, even in different social gatherings. So, learning all these abilities or learning all this, it's an art of growing. It's not that anything is missing in them. Understanding that, okay, this is me. However, I need to network as well if I want to grow, or if I want to build an authentic brand when you talk about personal branding, or being or relating to people. Because unless and until you converse with anybody, how would anybody understand what you are all about, right? So that is where it helps them.
When it comes to personal branding, Radhika, uh, what is the role of confidence that your personality exudes, and how people link it to your brand?
So personal branding is, you're a walking, talking brand. If you think about it, you're walking, you're moving with confidence. People can see you in that light. If you're not confident about yourself, like today, if I'm a confidence coach, if I'm not confident within myself, how am I going to help the people who come to me? I may know it all, but am I projecting it? Are people perceiving me as confident? No. So it's extremely important that how you project yourself, how people perceive you. Again, coming back to being a fast-paced world where people don't have the time. When you stand tall, you make sure your body language is at par, and you're speaking to somebody with open hand gestures that invites people to communicate. Make sure you maintain your eye contact. A lot of people are shy, so they shy away from making an eye contact. It shows it shows firstly either you're lying, or maybe you do not hold yourself, or you do not have enough self esteem. You have low self esteem. If you have high self esteem, if you feel you're credible, you're confident, you will definitely engage in the perfect eye contact. So these are crucial things to think about. Wearing a warm, inviting smile where people can come, then learning the art of small talk. So things like these are extremely important when it comes to showcasing yourself and your brand. The art of small talk, I think, goes a long way, because it is connecting the dots to bring about, or to build relationships, to speak to people. And then the way you pitch yourself, have you prepared the perfect pitch? Are you proactive about how you're going to pitch yourself and your brand to showcase yourself as somebody authentic and somebody really there? you know so all these crucial elements together play a very, very important or crucial role to showcase yourself, or to showcase for the world to know that you are a talking, walking brand of. It all comes through your body language, the way you dress, the way you showcase yourself, and the way you talk. So all these, making a fine cocktail of all of it is what you should remember when it comes to talking about your personal brand.
Yes. Now I'm going to ask you the recipe of a cocktail. So how can our viewers craft their personal brand so it is in alignment with their personality, their goals, their corporate roles, or their responsibility? Or how, just your views.
So basically, first and foremost, you need to understand your personality. Okay. Who am I? You know, what are my values? What are my goals? Are my goals and values aligned? What do I want to do? What are the whys? Why am I here talking about my brand? That is extremely important. Okay. Like if I want to create a community of thousands and thousands of people who I want to push, okay, or I want them to be fueled with confidence, how will I do that? Am I shining in my authentic light or not? So all these crucial elements really help there. Okay. Then understanding what value am I going to add. If you're just here to make quick buck and put it in your pocket, it's not going to work, because authenticity and building a brand takes time. Okay. People developing their trust in you takes time. So do not think about that. Think about creating value for people. Okay. Being authentic to yourself, creating value for people, letting them shine in their own light. If that is what you're here to do, then it is not so difficult to build a personal brand of your own, basically. So yes, this is how people can go about it.
It's Radhika. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this review and the importance of having in the importance of way we portray ourselves, because we are walking talking brand, right? But
Absolutely.
we sometimes we do not consciously register how we are projecting ourselves to other people. You gave us a lot
Absolutely.
of points to think of.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, okay, yeah. My request to all the viewers, please let us know what did you love about our conversations today and what are your key takeaway. I read all comments in the comment box. We'll excited to get to know you much better. And if you want any consulting or guidance, reach out to Radhika. Her all credentials are there in the description box below. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Namrata.